Hello students, today we are going to understand the nuclear reactor in detail. Okay, this is one of the apparatus. So like in every unit we have a major question. So in the same manner here nuclear reactor is the apparatus which we have to understand under these subheadings. That means principle, working, diagram, equations, drawbacks, advantages, all we will study now. So basically this nuclear reactor, this we are making based on the controlled nuclear chain fission reaction of uranium-235. Okay, so the principle is this. We are doing a chain reaction of fission and that also controlled. Okay, so you can see this reaction we have already studied, that a uranium-235, when it is bombarded with a slow neutron, then it gets converted into the isotope uranium-236, and then this uranium gets splitted into two products. The most possible products are barium and krypton, and three fast neutrons are generated with the generation of large amount of energy. Energy of 200 mega electron volt is generated per fission. Now, if we allow these neutrons to again go back to the fuel where for other nuclei of uranium are still lying, then they can further cause the fission reactions. And if this way it is uncontrolled reaction, then a huge amount of energy will be accumulated which will cause explosion. But let us try to convert this reaction in this manner that we can utilize this energy in a controllable manner. So we need to here allow only one of the neutron to trigger the fission reaction of next nuclei of uranium, next nucleus of uranium. And then again each time one neutron will be allowed to fall on the uranium, and this way the reaction will be controlled. And also these neutrons which are generated, that are fast neutrons, we need to control their speeds also. Otherwise they will not interact with the uranium. They will not cause the fission. So these two things are to be achieved to make the reaction controlled, and this way each reaction 200 mega electron volt energy will be utilized. So we will convert it for electrical energy generation. Okay, so this way this device nuclear reactor, it converts the nuclear energy generated in controlled nuclear fission reaction to electrical energy. So nuclear energy it converts to electrical energy. This way it is useful. Okay, so we can see the outline working of the nuclear reactor. This diagram we have to show along with the working. So firstly let us discuss slow neutron allowed to uranium. Uranium breaks into two products, barium and krypton, and it generates three fast neutrons. Now we don't want all the three neutrons to cause fission reaction further. So these extra two neutrons are captured by cadmium rods. We will discuss in the next sheet. And this fast neutron, it is passed through the moderator to slow down its speed. Then this neutron becomes slow and it is allowed to fall on the uranium again. Okay, so next nucleus of uranium, it also undergoes the fission reaction. Two products, three neutrons, one of the neutron passing through moderator, and this way the process goes on. So how does these cadmium rods and this moderator do their function? That we need to understand in the next sheet. So let us come to the working part. This detail. Okay, let us understand now the construction part of the nuclear reactor. So here we need the nuclear fuel, then we need a moderator, then we need the control rods, and then we need the coolant. So let us understand the detail of each of the part. So as a nuclear fuel, basically the uranium's isotopes are used, 92U235 or 92U238, which are abundant. So they are sealed in aluminum cylinder, so that because they are very radioactive, so they can give rise to some hazardous decay radiations. Okay, so that's why they are sealed in the aluminum cylinder. Now next is that moderator we have to understand in detail. Moderator, the purpose of the moderator is to slow down the fast moving secondary neutrons which are produced during the fission. So as we know that three neutrons which are produced as a result, that three neutrons are very fast. So how to make their speeds moderate? That is done by moderator. So what we need to do, we have to pass them through the moderators like heavy water which are rich in protons. Okay, rich in protons. So what is the principle in which the speed of the neutrons is slowed down? The purpose is that we cause the elastic head-on collision of neutron passing through it any material rich in protons. Okay, so neutrons and protons elastic head-on collision we allow. So what happens now? Whenever in the elastic collision we have studied that m1 and m2 is almost same, then after the head-on collision their velocities get exchanged. So the fast speed of neutron that is carried away by the proton and the slow speed of proton that is carried away by the neutron. So this way the neutrons become slow. Let us understand the detail. We do the elastic head-on collision of neutron and proton, and in elastic collisions in 11th we have already proved that if the masses of the colliding particles are same, okay, we know that neutron and protons are of almost same mass, then velocity after collision gets exchanged. Okay, so initial velocity of two particle becomes final velocity of one particle. Initial velocity of one particle becomes final velocity of two particle. This equation we had achieved already there. That means the velocity of fast neutrons is carried away now by protons, and velocity of slow protons is carried away now by neutrons. So this way the neutrons become slow in speed. Okay, so the example of the moderator, one we have written heavy water. Basically their protons should be present, okay, in that moderator material. So as a moderator we use, one is the heavy water, and one more example we can write here. At Apsara reactor, which is situated at Baba Atomic Research Center, Bark, Mumbai, their water only is used as the moderator. So this is the detail and functioning about the moderator's purpose. So this way the moderator does its work. Its purpose was to slow down the fast moving secondary neutron. Now to next purpose, that means control rods. Third part of the construction is control rods. So their purpose, that means the control rod's purpose, is to absorb the extra neutrons. As we are saying that in each fission reaction 3 neutrons are produced, and we don't want 3 neutrons to cause fission further. We only want 1 neutron to cause fission. So these 2 extra neutrons which are to be absorbed. So for that we need to take some neutron absorbing material like cadmium. Okay, we have to take cadmium. All rods are made up of cadmium. Their property is that they can absorb neutron easily. Okay, and we can say one more way that what is their function. So control rods or safety rods, they basically control the reaction rate by controlling a term called K. K means multiplication factor. Now what is the meaning of K? Let us understand. Let us understand now the meaning of this K. K is multiplication factor, and its formula is that K equal to ratio of number of fission produced by new generation of neutrons to number of fission of preceding generation. Now, what is the meaning of new generation and preceding generation fissions? Number of fissions, what is the meaning? We know that one neutron can cause one fission of uranium. Okay, now what is the meaning of new generation and preceding generation? Let us see now. Just focus on the uranium's fission reaction. Earlier there was one neutron. It caused the fission reaction of one uranium, and as a result 3 neutrons were generated, which can cause 3 fission reactions. Okay, so this is new generation and this is preceding generation. So here, because 3 neutrons are generated, this can produce 3 fission, and earlier there was one neutron, so one fission. So basically number of fission ratio means actually number of protons ratio, number of neutrons ratio. Okay, so number of neutrons as a result and number of neutrons before the reaction, that ratio is called K. Now we want the controlled chain reaction. We want that out of the 3 neutrons which are generated, only one neutron should trigger the fission reaction, so that this chain reaction is controlled. So we will be here writing the 3 steps, that which K we want. K equal to 1 means number of fission of new generation and number of fission of old generation, they are same. Then that means the K equal to 1. So here the operation of the reactor is said to be critical. Critical. That means the steady power generation is taking place. Okay, that means everything is under control. So steady power generation is taking place. So this case is the one which we want. K equal to 1 we want. Okay, now suppose in any reactor K becomes greater than 1. Okay, now just apply it to this formula, K greater than 1. That means number of fission of new generation are more than number of fission of old generation. So we don't want it, because this can cause explosion. Okay, because huge amount of energy will be produced in that. So here we say that operation of the reactor is supercritical. Okay, this stage is called supercritical because it can explode. Example, we can mention here one example. One Chernobyl reactor was there. One mishap happened there in 1986. That explosion took place in the nuclear reactor. Okay, so what should we do if K greater than 1 comes in any reaction? So basically the control rods are used to put a check on K. Okay, now control rod's target is to absorb extra neutrons. So in the reactor, the control rods are this way inserted. So whenever K becomes greater than 1, we should insert the control rods inside the reactor so that they absorb the extra neutrons, and this way the K comes under control, or reaction rate comes under control. So control rods are inserted in the reactor to absorb neutron. Okay, this N is written, that means neutron. Okay, now what is the meaning of K less than 1? So K less than 1 means subcritical. Operation of the reactor is subcritical. That means now the required number of fission by new generation is not taking place. Okay, the number of fission in the new generation is less. That should not happen. So what should we do now? The control rods are taken out. Okay, control rods which were inside the reactor, they should be taken out so that enough number of neutrons pass and they make the more fission reactions. So this way K equal to 1, K greater than 1 and K less than 1, we have understood here 3 categories. So multiplication factor means this thing. So whenever we want K should be equal to 1. So whenever K becomes greater than 1, that means the reaction rate is very fast. Then our control rods will be inserted inside the reactor. They will absorb extra neutrons, and this way the reaction will come under control. And in case if K is very less than 1, if K is less than 1, that means here now control rods need is not there. Control rods should be taken out so that the number of neutrons are sufficient inside the reactor and they cause sufficient number of fission reactions. So this way, whenever K less than 1 or K greater than 1 is there, control rods play their role in controlling the reaction rate. Okay. Into fourth part of construction. Now the fourth part is coolant. Okay. Now we are saying that in each fission reaction around 200 mega electron volt energy is produced. Now how to use this energy to convert it to electricity? So a substance which is used to remove heat and utilize this heat energy to produce steam. so as to run the turbine blades of generator. So that substance is called the coolant. That means anyhow we have to convert that heat energy in form of steam so that the steam can run the blades of generator. So this way water, heavy water and liquid sodium are coolants. Now let us understand the detailed working with the help of the diagram in the next sheet. Understand the working of nuclear reactor with the help of this outline. Okay, now let us understand the working. First of all, all the reactor details are here only. In this reactor core, the nuclear fission reaction is taking place, and we know that a large amount of energy is generated per fission. So that heat energy which is generated, that we use to make water hot. Okay, so here water is filled. Using that heat energy, water gets heated. Then water is allowed to fall to this part. Now here, in this case, the hot water is coming, and in this part, everywhere the water is again filled. So due to this hot water flowing, here that water which is filled outside, that will get converted to steam. So this part is called steam generator. So that means using the hot water flow, the water up outside gets converted to the steam and steam flows upwards. Okay, so now this steam at high pressure is allowed to come to turbine blades. Okay, so it is allowed, so this steam's purpose is to run the turbine blades. Now these turbine blades are connected with the electrical generator. So we already know the principle of electric generator, that how in AC generator electricity is produced, that with the help of any mechanism we have to run the coil in between the magnetic field, and that's why induced current is produced due to change of magnetic flux. So we want anyhow to move the coil. Okay, so that movement of the coil is done by the turbine, and this turbine is moved with the help of this steam, superheated steam. So once the turbine blades move, they make the coil also move of the electric generator or AC generator, and this way the induced current is produced, which can be taken out here. After that, now what steam's purpose is done, steam comes back through this chamber. So this is called steam condenser. That means again coolant is allowed to flow in and out. So due to this coolant, that steam which is flowing, that steam gets converted to water again. So water at low pressure comes back here. Okay, so this way there at different stages we are using here water. So this way the working is done. So overall the working is with the help of heat energy from the fission reaction, we are making the water hot. This hot water is making steam, and steam is running the blades of the turbine, and this way the electricity is produced. Okay, so all other mechanisms are just to cool down that steam again and to return back to this chamber. So overall the outline part of nuclear power plant or nuclear reactor can be divided into two parts. This is called primary loop and this is called secondary loop. Now write the working steps of this reactor in the next sheet. Draw the diagram. Let us see the working steps of reactor once again. So water present in the reactor core gets heated due to large energy produced in fission. Then with the help of this hot water, the water present in steam generator gets converted to steam. Now why we made steam? Steam to run blades of turbine. Okay, so steam runs the turbine blades, and hence armature. Armature means coil ABCD we can call. Armature of AC generator moves in the presence of magnetic field, and thus induced current is produced, or only current is produced you can write. And fourth step is finally that steam passes through steam condenser and converts to water again, and this way the process goes on. So as you can see in the first three steps, the large energy which is produced in the fission, that we have converted into the current. Current is produced, so it is converted to electrical energy. Okay, and this step is just to convert steam back to water. So these are the working steps which are very easy. Now we can write the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear reactor sheet. Okay, let us compare the nuclear reactor and chemical reactors. Okay, so this is the advanced version, that we are using nuclear reactors, means nuclear energy, and there we are using the chemical energy in the reactors, where chemical energy is converted into the electrical energy. So what are the points that we should remember? First of all, nuclear reactor. Okay, the advantages are these only, that here the energy released is in million times than in the chemical reactor. Okay, here the energy released is million times greater than the chemical reactor. Then fuel needed is also less. You can see one example, 1 kg of 92U235 generates 3 into 10 raised to power 4 megawatt power. Okay, so this much power is generated from this 1 kg of uranium only. Okay, and if we want to write the disadvantages of nuclear reactor, so disadvantages are very simple, that nuclear waste is produced, first of all, because the products which are produced in the nuclear fission reaction, that are nuclear waste only. And secondly, the fuel is also highly radioactive, which is extremely hazardous to life. So here the problem is of radioactivity. These fuel which we are using, that are radioactive. And if let us come to now chemical reactor. Now in chemical reactor, the processes which are taking place for making energy, that are burning coal, wood, petroleum products, etc. So lot of pollution takes place. And obviously the energy produced is also small in comparison to this case. Disadvantages other than pollution, we can add that energy produced is also less here and fuel needed is also more. Okay, so these are the points which we can remember for nuclear reactor and for chemical reactor. Okay, students, let us start now nuclear fusion. Okay, we have completed nuclear fission and one apparatus nuclear reactor based on that. Now today it is nuclear fusion. Okay, so fusion, as we have discussed before also, that phenomenon of fusing two or more lighter nuclei to form a single heavy nucleus. So we can show it in this diagram. When two smaller nuclei, they fuse together and make one bigger or heavier nucleus, then this process is called the nuclear fusion. And like in the fission process, here also the energy is liberated. Some energy is released. Okay, so the phenomenon of using two or more lighter nuclei to form a single heavy nucleus with the liberation of energy, this is called nuclear fusion. Okay, now we have discussed the cause of fusion also with the help of binding energy graph already. We have seen that like hydrogen, the lighter nuclei, hydrogen is unstable because it's having less binding energy. So two hydrogen can mix and they can make helium, which is more stable because its binding energy is more. So overall the idea is, or the cause of why the fusion takes place, so the reason is that only, since the binding energy of lighter nuclei is less, so they are less stable, and that's why they fuse to make more stable nucleus. Okay, so these two lighter nuclei are less stable because of less binding energy. They fuse in such a manner that they make a heavy nucleus which has more binding energy, or they are more stable. Okay, so this way the process takes place. Now let us discuss some more detail about the nuclear fusion. That detail is what? First of all, we are saying that two lighter nuclei should fuse. Like if this is hydrogen, this is also hydrogen. So in hydrogen and hydrogen, in the nucleus of hydrogen, actually proton here also resides, proton here also resides. Okay, now we want that two protons should come closer. So this is the problem. So two positively charged particles cannot be brought closer to fuse unless their Coulomb's repulsion is overcome. So the problem is they cannot come closer because they will repel each other. Okay, so proton of hydrogen and proton of another hydrogen, they will always repel each other. So what should we do so that they come close to each other? So basically there are three conditions needed so that the fusion easily takes place. So what are the conditions needed for fusion? So high temperature, high pressure and high density, these are the three requirements. Now how they can help? First of all, if we keep the high temperature means very high temperature. It is around 10 raised to power 7 Kelvin. Okay, 10 raised to power 7 Kelvin. So high temperature means it will give the high thermal energy, and this energy is capable of overcoming the repulsive force. Okay, so high thermal energy will overcome the repulsion. Now second is high pressure. Now pressure means we have to apply pressure to both the nuclei to come closer to each other. So pressure will also help two nuclei fuse each other. Okay, then high density. High density means here the abundance should be there, and here also in the nuclei hydrogen abundance should be there. So that means high density means the chances of collision will become more frequent, more. Chances of collisions will be more. Okay. That means the three conditions required for nuclear fusion are high temperature, high pressure and high density. They support that nuclear fusion will take place easily. Okay, now first of all, this condition, high temperature of around 10 raised to power 7 Kelvin. Now this condition or other conditions they are only met in the interior of the stars like sun. Okay, so these conditions only met there, and in the suns the high abundance of hydrogen and helium are already there. That means of lighter nuclei are already there. High pressure is also present. So this way these conditions are present on the sun, and there the fusion reaction takes place. So that means due to that fusion reaction a large energy is produced. That means what is the reason of what is the source of energy of stars? So source of energy of stars is this thermonuclear fusion only. We can call it thermonuclear fusion because thermal energy is helping. So we can call it thermonuclear fusion. So basically the point is that fusion cannot be arranged in laboratory. Okay, so now let us understand the process in the sun or in the stars. Now let us see nuclear fusion reaction in sun. So it is basically the thermonuclear fusion reaction, okay, because thermal energy helps or temperature helps so that the fusion takes place. So in the sun, this thermonuclear fusion reaction, it is actually a multi-step process which is also called as proton-proton cycle. Proton-proton. That means we can denote proton by 1h1, another proton by 1h1. As you know, we are talking about the nuclei, and in the hydrogen nucleus only proton is present. So here also only proton is present. So what happens when two protons and protons come closer? So they have to make helium, but directly means when 1h1 and 1h1 will combine, initially some isotopes will be formed, 1h2, 2he3, like that, and finally 2he4 will be produced. So what is the process overall that we need to remember? So for 1h1, okay, for 1h1, this is written H. So for 1h1 means 4 protons in presence of 2 electrons. When they combine, then finally helium is produced plus some more particles are produced. This is neutrino and this is gamma particle, and how much energy is released. So that is again in the same manner calculated, that initial masses and these are the final masses. Okay, so what we need to do? Masses of initial substances. So masses of 4 1h1 plus masses of 2 electrons. This we have to add initial mass minus whatever products are generated, their mass is less. So MF we have to do. This mass difference we have to multiply with the C square. So this will give us the energy equal to 26.7 mega electron volt. So how much energy is produced in the nuclear fusion reaction? So that is 26.7 mega electron volt. So like in the fission reaction, 200 mega electron volt was produced, and in the fusion reaction 26.7 mega electron volt is produced. So 4 hydrogen combine to make helium with the release of 26.7 mega electron volt. So this is all about the nuclear fusion reaction. We have studied the conditions, the problems, and the final reaction. Okay.